Okay. Do you guys remember these? Do you remember these original cell phones? Those of you that are younger than me, you may not have even known this existed, but this is what cell phones first looked like when they came out. It was this gigantic, heavy bag. It even had to be like hardwired into your car. You didn't take it places, not like you do a phone. So I want you to imagine for a second if that didn't evolve and change. If we were still carrying around bag cell phones in our cars and we didn't have these. I mean, heck, you can make calls on a watch now. It's crazy how technology changes. But things have to evolve and you have to evolve as well. And that's what we're talking about today. Okay, so many of you may know that this Thursday I'm doing a workshop that is all about Facebook groups, which is a little bit different than what you are know me for, and it's because I have evolved based on your asks, your input, and the things that you need from me. We all have to evolve, and so what I wanted to do today is I wanted to give you a free tip. So we're talking about this workshop. The workshop is Thursday. I'm going to give you one free tip today. And I'm going to actually show you how it's being applied in the real world inside my Facebook group. Okay. So the whole idea behind this, here's where, for those of you that are just tuning in, this is where we started with cell phones. This is what they look like. They were crazy heavy. It's ridiculous. I remember my dad first got one. He was so excited. And now look at where they are, right? Technology companies have to evolve or they wouldn't be in business, right? If Motorola was still making phones like this, although I imagine they'd probably there's a retro or vintage appeal right now, but they wouldn't still be in business. They wouldn't have stayed in business. And you won't either if you don't evolve your business, your practices, and your Facebook group. Okay. So what I want you to consider is that your content, the content that you're putting in your Facebook group, it can't always stay the same. And I don't mean the same every day. I mean the themes, the calendar, what you do in your Facebook group, it has to evolve, just like cell phones have to evolve. The key is doing it at the right time and being aware of when it's the right time to do it. So, what I would encourage you to do is make sure that you are constantly evaluating your content in your Facebook group. What's working? What's not working? What's getting engagement? What's not? And before it becomes dead as a doorknob, that's when you want to make changes, right? It's like, I don't know if there are any Seinfeld fans out there, but Seinfeld was this amazing television series and it ended. And most people were like, oh my gosh, why are you ending it on a high? I could also say the same thing about Schitt's Creek. It was the same way. This is why you've got to evolve. You've got to move on before you become this worn out, dead, old, icky tire. Okay. All right. So, what do you got to do in this situation? You got to be looking at what's working, what's not, and you've got to be willing to change it. You've got to be willing to try something new and continuously evaluate and evolve. So let's take a real world example. Inside my group, which is called Get on Camera, I'm about to evolve. We're going to make a change as it relates to, drum roll please, the Beyond the Camera show. And I'm going to talk to you about what's changing. But before we get into what, I want to talk about why, because it's relevant to this tip, this whole idea of you have to evaluate and evolve. So I'm just going to be totally open and honest and vulnerable. And the kimono is open, so to speak. That show, on average, I estimate that takes me about 3 hours of time for every guest. And that's probably low. 3 hours. Okay. Because I've got to vet the guests, I've got to interview them, I got to check them out. I need to gather their assets. Sometimes we have to jump on a call and talk about how the show works. I've got to create all of the marketing materials. I've got to actually market it. Then you have the actual interview that I have to script out, prep for, then actually conduct, and then you've got follow-up post. That's a lot of effort. Okay. And if I'm being honest, The return on that investment of time, it's so I keep doing it. Okay. If I think about energetically, how do I feel about the show? I love my guests. I love that you all love that show, but energetically, something's off. And you have to be in tune with how you feel energetically about something before that energy becomes something that other people can feel. Now, having said that, I also have to consider this fact that you all love this show. You love tuning in. You love meeting the new guests. You get exposed to new ideas. Several of you have asked me to do more of them. Like, could we do one every week? My guests love it because they get huge benefits. They get a new audience. You guys are fantastically involved and engaged. And so they get new clients, new people in there, whatever it is that they're promoting. But I'm still over here going, what am I getting? So how do you find a middle ground in this space? That's the hard part. The other thing that I have to consider is last week we talked about overwhelm. And we talked about how many of you are telling me that there's too much going on. You have so much going on and you don't know which way is up, and that overwhelm is stopping you from making progress in your business. So as much as you may love this show, is it contributing to that overwhelm? Or is it helping you with your business? Don't know. So what you got to consider in all of this is your perspective. What are you getting? What is the value, the benefits there? What are your people getting? What are your guests getting? You take the overwhelm in, it's a lot to consider. And so at least I wanted to find some sort of middle ground. I didn't want to completely kill it because there's benefit there. To some people, there's benefit there. But at the same time, something needed to change. So I evaluate and I evolve. That's what we're talking about today. How do you evaluate and evolve inside your own Facebook group? Okay. How do I make this Beyond the Camera less work for me, but still a same benefit to you, or at least to those who want it? So let me tell you what's going to change, and then we're going to come back to this whole idea of evaluate and evolve. So it's still going to be every other Friday. It's still going to be at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. There's still going to be roughly 2 guests a month. That all still is going to say. It's still going to be an event. It's still going to be promoted. You'll still get reminders. But here's what's changing. It's not going to be an interview. I'm going to allow these guests to go live at that time without me there. Now, that's a drastic change, and I totally want to know what you all think of this. You've all been oddly quiet. You're either absorbing everything like the sponges that I know that you are, or you're going, huh. So I want to know what you think of this. Okay. The other thing that I want to touch on is for those of you that are in the Go Live League, you get VIP sessions with those guests. So how's that going to work? And so what I would say is this, that is my favorite part too. That is the part of this whole show that I get the tremendous amount of value from is those. So we're going to keep doing those. It's just going to evolve. It's just going to evolve. So what we're going to look at is, again, more evaluation. Which guest experts do you all watch? Which ones resonate? Which ones get the most comments? Which ones are you all talking to me about? And then I'll invite those guests to come and do a VIP session for us. Maybe it's once a month. Maybe it's once a quarter. We're going to just see based on the reactions and your engagement around each of the different guests. Okay, so that's the plan. All right, I see some comments. Okay, try new stuff. This is exactly it. You've got to try new stuff, and you have to not be afraid to ditch something that's not working. Whether it's not working for you as the host of the group, or it's not working for your members and that they're not engaging or commenting or doing something with it, time to change, time to try new stuff. You're exactly right. There's actually a couple of call outs that I want to give you around this whole idea of evaluate and evolve. The first one is watch out for changing for change's sake. Now, I know you're hearing about these Beyond the Camera changes right now. First time you're hearing about it, but this wasn't a decision I just decided yesterday. I've given it some thought. I've gone back and forth. I've reached out to a few people and gotten some feedback, and I feel like this is the right time to make those changes. You got to do that work within your own Facebook group as well. What's working? What's not working? How would you feel if I changed this up? You don't want to ask everybody because everybody's going to have an opinion, but you know who your super fans are. You know who can give you honest feedback. Trust that. And you got to trust your gut to some extent and be like, it's time to change. Okay. That's call out number one. Call out number two is watch changing too often. So if, for example, I do a post. Here, I'll give you a real world example. So the improv post that we do every Thursday in here, which is usually me holding up some random item like a pencil. And I say, how would you tie this pencil into your business? That is a recurring post that I have wanted to do for years. And we used to do it and then it fizzled and nobody was doing it. And so I killed it. And then I think it was during a challenge, somebody said, oh my gosh, I love that idea. Why don't you bring that back? So I brought it back. And I will tell you, some weeks it goes gangbusters and you guys are all in. And other weeks, crickets. Like last week's post, I don't think there was a single person. So you want to be careful not to just go, oh, nobody comment on that post, I better kill it and come up with something new. You got to look at the whole. You got to give it a little bit of time. Don't change for change's sake. A really good rule of thumb is try something for a good 60, 90 days. And if it doesn't work, if you put everything into it and it's still not tracking or getting traction, then that's when you kill it. That's when you kill it. Okay. All right. So any comments, thoughts, or questions about this whole idea of evaluate and evolve inside your Facebook group, or any comments, call outs, questions about the changes I'm making to Beyond the Camera? Because what I want to do next is I want to give you a call to action, and then I've got some additional things I want you to think about. Okay. I'm not seeing. Okay. Tammy says it's a necessary part of the business. You're exactly right. Right? Back to this Motorola bag phone. If Motorola didn't change and they were still selling this, they wouldn't be in business. It is a necessary part of business. Yes. Necessary. Agreed. Okay. So here is my call to action for all of you. Oh, another good one, Tammy. Boy, you're on it today. We're sharing. If you're not evolving, you're dissolving. That should be on a coffee mug, I think. Yes, right? If you are Motorola and this is your product and you are continuing to make it and not evolving and making it better, you are dissolving your company. You got to think about that for your business and your Facebook group. If you are not evolving, you're dissolving. Okay? And I think we can get caught up in this whole idea of, well, this is what I've always done. I've always done motivation on Monday and training on Tuesday and blah, 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 blah. I've just always done it and I'm in this routine. And sometimes you've got to scramble up your routine for you, for your group, for your members. That's what this has been all about. Okay. Here's your call to action. My ask of you is if you enjoy and get value out of this Beyond the Camera show. It's still going to be called Beyond the Camera. Still going to happen as we talked about earlier. I know, Golnara, you said you just joined, so you're going to have to watch the replay. Sorry, dear, because I don't think I can review it quick enough here to get it. Maybe this will be a good challenge for me. Ooh, should I do that? Let's try it. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, let's review. Let's do a quick review. See if you have questions. I love when I challenge myself. All right. So the review is this. If you don't evolve, your business is not going to move forward. You have to look at your Facebook group as a part of your business that has to evolve. Your content has to evolve. And the key is you need to evaluate what's working, what's not, and not be afraid to make changes and try something new. And so I'm applying that very thing with the Beyond the Camera show. For various reasons. I'm not going to go into all of those reasons. Golnara, you can go back and watch the recording for that part. But it's still going to happen as scheduled. It's still going to be promoted. It's just going to be a live and it's not going to be an interview. It's going to save me a ton of time, a ton of energy that I can then divert into more of the things that bring me joy, but also are good for you and help with this whole idea of the overwhelm. Okay. How was that for a review? I think I did fair. I think that was fair. I probably missed some oomph in there, but hopefully you got the gist. And I still don't see any questions, so I must be doing all right here. All right. So finally, oh my gosh, Jamie, get to the call to action, will you? If this Beyond the Camera show is something that you find value in, if you enjoy me having these guest experts come in and talk about different various things, then continue to show up for them. So this Friday is the first one. Stash, I call her Stash. Her name is Stasha, but her friends call her Stash. So of course I'm gonna call her Stash. She is going to do Beyond the Camera. She's going to be the first one in this new format, going live and talking about email marketing. She is brilliant. I love her. She's quirky and fun, and I like her very much. I think she's going to have a lot of great things to share with you on Friday. If email marketing is an area of your business that you want to learn more about, tune in. Okay. So the call to action is not just tune in this Friday with Stash, but tune in for all of these guests. Because if you keep showing up, if the numbers keep showing that this is still value, then I'm going to keep doing it. And if not, then we'll stop it altogether. So this whole idea of evaluate and evolve, it's a constant evaluation. Not constant change, which I warned you about, but it is constant evaluation. So this is step one. Step one is we're moving to this. I think I have guests through November scheduled. And if anybody out there, I think I've got a couple of pockets. If anybody else wants to do one, reach out. Let me know. If you want to have a go at it, cool. Let me know. So that's my ask. My ask is show up for these folks and keep this segment, keep this Beyond the Camera expert show going. But if it falls off and we see multiple guests not getting any viewers, even on the replay, then it's probably time to evolve again. And maybe after the first of the year, we'll just be done with it, at least for a while. Doesn't mean it won't come back in some other way, shape, or form. Okay. Any questions about that call to action? What are you all feeling about that? You all ready to show up and support Stash and everybody else who's coming? I know you are, because you guys are awesome. Okay. So let me, I hope that you found this tip valuable. I know it was kind of a weird way, and I tried to get super creative at pulling in the whole idea of this workshop on Thursday. If not signed up for the workshop and you want to join us because you want more tips like this, the link is up above. I think I put it up above. If I didn't put it up above, I'll put it in the comments. Yes, Julie's asking, is it every Friday? It's every other Friday, give or take. Oops. They're all posted. There will always be an event inside the group so you can see who's coming and what they're talking about. Okay. Oh, look at this. Sarah says she wants to be a guest. Oh, holistic. That would be a fun one. Yay. That would be super cool. Okay. Let's talk. Okay. So this Thursday's workshop, $47. It's an hour and a half. It is recorded if you can't attend live. I'm going to share the 6 strategies that I use to turn around this Facebook group. So if you've missed the whole conversation, this particular group was dead a year ago. I mean, so dead, I was ready to shut the whole thing down. And I figured out that it had to have these 6 things in some way, shape, or form in order to get the wheels turning and the engagement started and the business growing. And that's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn all 6 strategies, and I'm going to give you at least a tip in each strategy that's actionable, something that you can actually go and do in your group, just like this one. Just like the tip I just shared, which is about evaluating your content and make sure you're making changes. Okay. All right. A couple other things, and then I'll wrap us up here. Today is the twofer. And I don't know how this happened. I guess I wasn't paying close attention to my calendar. But Lori Conkler and I will be going live later today, like in an hour. At 1:30 Central. Lori is my coach, and we do a joint live in both our Facebook groups, and we talk about all things marketing. And last week, we asked you guys for suggestions or topics that you wanted us to cover. So today, we are going to talk about sales funnels. So once again, back to the whole overwhelm that we've been talking about. If you are somebody, and right now in your business, you are struggling with sales funnels, you're going to want to tune in. If you're like, I got my sales funnel down, then it's probably not for you. Those are the choices I want you to be better making so that you are better in control of your overwhelm. Okay. So, and then the other thing that I'll touch on is this Thursday, we always draw from this bin, same time, same place, every Thursday at 12 Central. And we obliterate obstacles, the video challenges that are in your way. I've pre-drawn for this Thursday because so many of you have asked me about this. This Thursday, my nose is itching. Somebody's thinking about me. This Thursday, we are going to talk about being an entrepreneur is freaking hard. It's hard. It's not easy. And it kind of went with this whole idea of being overwhelmed. Sometimes you just think, is it really worth it? What am I doing here? Should I just go and get a job? And so we're going to talk about that because I've heard it from a number of people. And so we're going to deal with that obstacle. Should I just go and get a job and not be an entrepreneur because it's hard? So tune in Thursday if that is of interest to you. Okay. All right. Let me see if there are any comments. Linda says she can't wait for the strategies on Thursday. I'll tell you a funny story, very quick story. So last night I did not a dry run, but I shared a little bit with my husband, and he did one of these. And I'm like, is that a good or is that a bad? And he's like, oh my, that's really good stuff. And I'm like, I know. And he said this. He said, are you giving them enough? Is there enough stuff that you're giving? And I stopped and I went, yeah, you're right. I'm probably holding back a little bit. I'm going to give more. And I don't mean more as in overwhelming. I mean more tangible things that you can apply. So I had to really restrain myself because it's like, it's in 2 days, Jamie, you can't rewrite this whole freaking thing. But I'm wanting to make sure that you leave that workshop with things that you can actually go and apply and change, and it'll make a difference in your group. I'm so excited. I can't wait either. I'm so excited. Don't hold back. That's exactly right. I think we all tend to hold back because we're afraid that if we give somebody something, then they won't pay us. And we got to get past that fear because people don't pay for the thing. Okay, now I'm on a tangent and I don't want to go on a tangent. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Tammy says, you spent a lot of time on these. This is the Beyond the Camera show. And we take it for granted that we can just grab a little Jamie whenever we need it. Aw, we should be supporting you better. Tammy, aw, you're the best. Thank you for that. But I also own stepping up like I did today and saying, it's not working for me. We got to make a change. So don't be afraid to do that in your business. Just because something is working for in your Facebook group, if it's draining you, eventually that's going to come to an abrupt head and you don't want to go there. All right, good. Another thing, I should be writing these things down. We should be talking about this stuff. Okay, I'm going to write it down. See, this is a great tip for those of you that go off on tangents. Write them down. Cover it next time. Okay, so don't hold back. And this whole idea of how the heck do I summarize what Tammy just said? Because it's about supporting yourself and recognizing time to change. Okay, I probably won't remember that, but I can always come back to this. All right. Where did we start with this? Oh my gosh, we've been so many different places. We started with this crazy bag phone from Motorola. That's where we started. And I said, imagine if these were still the cell phones we were carrying. I mean, this is one of those weird, crazy things. I've got a picture of an old bag phone on myself. I mean, you couldn't do this with those old bag phones. We've evolved. Technology has evolved, but we've evolved because people want more different things. And you have to evolve your business and most importantly, your Facebook group so that you are being innovative, that you are trying new things and you don't get stuck back here. So imagine, if you will, where your group is at right now. What's working? What's not working? This is probably a really great exercise for you to do. How will it be different 6 months from now or a year from now? Really stop and think about that because you own evaluating and evolving your Facebook group, just like you need to evolve in your own business. All right. I hope this was a helpful session today. I know it was a little bit different than what we normally do on Tuesdays, but I felt like it was a valuable use of our time. So I will see you all live sometime shortly soon, maybe in an hour, maybe on Thursday. We will see. Have a great week, everybody. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys.